Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And welcome to Las Vegas. Who was that? Was that Parker?
Yeah.
I heard a sing-songy good morning. Where are you? It's dark in here.
Yep.
Yeah. What's happening?
We're leaving Las Vegas.
We are leaving Las Vegas, but not before we go to one final buffet. This is actually the first thing I booked to do on this trip was go to this buffet and then plan the rest of the trip around it. So this is the Bacchanal Buffet at Caesar's Palace during the crab brunch because the birthday girl loves a crab.
And it only happens between 1 and 3 p.m. from what I can tell.
On weekends. And it has to be like Friday,
Weekdays.
Saturday. No, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Ah.
Weekdays are out. I had to plan this so that we were getting here right on time or leaving here right on time. And so I put it at the tail end of this trip, and we spent a few days in the week here, and it's Friday now. So they're having the buffet brunch, and we're going to it, and you're gonna join us. So thank you. Let's go eat some crab.
Let's go eat some crab.
The parking at Caesar's Palace did not accommodate our very large van. We ended up parking at the Bellagio, and it is very pretty on this side of the Bellagio. We didn't come through this way last night when we saw O. You've wanted a tiny burger this whole trip, huh? And it's got bacon in it?
All of the crab legs are individually the biggest of the crab legs. How impressive is that? It's just stellar. I also got a crab benedict. What? I'm so excited. And I have a system. This is like what I got. Then I put trash, and then I put the good stuff on the clean plate, and that's my eating plate. So that's my system. And I put lemon and butter and salt on my eating plate with my crab. So just if you wanted to know my system for crab.
I got my burrito quesadilla.
A burrito quesadilla?
Yeah.
You love burrito.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good.
Dad, I just have to say, wow. Gotta get some lemon on that, beauty. And there you go. Amazing.
Need some help?
It's not really working.
Try it way up here. Like open it up big. And now do it. A couple things about this buffet. First off, it is very, very busy. I'm not gonna be able to get like individual shots of all the food the way I did on the last two buffets that we went to. It's just, there's too many people, they're all moving, it's a lot. The food's really good, and there is a lot of it. There's more food here, I think, than any of the other buffets that we've gone to so far. It is seafood specific during this time on this day. So that has something to do with it. Did you just get some snails?
Snails for snails. Snails for bales.
Snails for bales?
Snails for bales.
Oh my goodness.
Down by the lobster. Here, Bailey.
Bailey's got some interesting stuff going on here. She's got, is that clam? And two snails. Oyster. Oh, an oyster. And I guess she'll get to that when she finishes her sorbet, which she said, what'd you say about the mango sorbet, Bailey?
That's the best mango sorbet I've ever had.
Best ever. What stood out to you today?
The burrito quesadilla.
The burrito quesadilla. I thought you might say that. Did you try the brisket? If you like the burrito quesadilla, you might like the brisket also.
Did you try the burrito quesadilla?
I did. I did.
It was good, right?
It was good, yeah. I've had it with like a little more flavor to it in the past. It wasn't the best one, but it was still pretty good. It's kind of wild, this whole room behind me here, full of food, and then you come out here and there's more food. This section right here is the main reason we're here today. Shrimp and grits, harissa grilled octopus, kimchi barbecue oysters, hot crab is right there, seafood boil, and we got all the chilled stuff. So we've got mussels, Jonah crab claws, Cortez clams, Dungeness crab, shrimp cocktail, and chilled crab legs, lobster claws, whelks, and Cajun poached prawns. There's a huge meat carving station right here, and then just food from all around the world, all over the place, different cultures and different foods. Really fun to go through the room and pick stuff out. Good morning, Luke. Are you having fun with the buffet? Hi. Oh, you got some baby wipes? You got a baby wipe? Teddy, what did you eat?
I ate a hamburger.
You ate a hamburger? How many hamburgers did you eat? 4, 5, 6? That's a lot of hamburgers. So they have all that food, and then you come into the middle, and it's dessert central. Oh, what did you find? Oh my goodness, that's blueberry cheesecake and a blueberry sensation. Let's see how they taste. You want to try it out? Okay, give it a try.
So that's blueberries and white chocolate.
Oh, it's getting deep in there.
How is it?
It's good. Do you like it? What's it taste like? Buffet? It tastes like buffet?
Yeah.
Jacob just found something here.
Yep.
It was hard to see. I was looking for it. But he found, what did you find, Jake?
The crepe station.
The crepe station.
Yep, you get to pick your sauce and you get to pick your berries and toppings.
And what did you go with today?
I went with Nutella, mixed berries, and whipped cream.
Nice. All right, let's see it.
Okay.
How's it taste? Oh, gotta get that whipped cream. Gotta get a little berry. A little bit of everything. Oh, lost it. Lost it. Gotta get it again. Refill. All right. Good crepes. Nice consistency.
Oh no.
Yep.
Okay, we are back home now, obviously, and I wanted to take a couple minutes and just talk about the trip, your birthday trip, your big birthday trip to Las Vegas.
It was so perfect. Thank
glad-
you.
Yeah, no, it all seemed to work out really well. I was nervous because it was the first big
Perfect.
family trip with like everybody that I planned all by myself.
Yeah.
And it could have ended in complete disaster, so it didn't. The first thing I wanted to talk about was the Bacchanal Buffet and what our final thoughts were on that.
Bacchanal was wonderful. I think it's so tricky to figure out like the absolute best. I feel like each place we went to, we were there and we're like, this is the best. But the Bacchanal, I feel like it might have been my favorite. And also we were there for the seafood one specifically. So I don't know what it was like if it wasn't like that seafood time. But it did have the really great crab legs. And I was so impressed that they had the individual, like they picked out the biggest crab leg and it was there in the hot crab legs. I really appreciated the Wicked Spoon and the Bacchanal for both having hot crab legs. The other thing that I thought was really fun about the Bacchanal was that there were so much and they were kind of constantly shifting out different things. So like there'd be something there and then it would change to a different item. Like,
it's the biggest variety
yeah,
of stuff, for
that,
sure.
And it felt like I was constantly discovering a new thing. Like, oh my goodness, that was there. Like these hidden gems, or like opening a pomegranate and being like, oh, there's another little pomegranate arrow. I thought that was really fun. I definitely didn't try all of the pescatarian things even. I still feel like the Wicked Spoon had the best food quality of all the places.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
Yes.
Of all the buffets.
But the Bacchanal was really close. Like it was up there and it had a wide variety of just like really interesting, exciting things. And I was like, wow, it had like caviar. And it wasn't even labeled. It was interesting. I was like, what is that? And they were like, oh, that's caviar. And I was like, what? The Asian area, I didn't even get into, but it normally, like that would have been enough. Like that little area alone was super cool. And then they also had a crepe station, which I loved. Buffet at the Wynn had a crepe station as well, but Wicked Spoon did not. I feel like the Wicked Spoon, their main desserts were kind of like these little pick them up and take them away ones and gelato. But it wasn't
like
a lot.
all in little shot glasses. Like it was like
Yeah.
little tiny servings of stuff.
And I don't know with the Wicked Spoon if I just had filled myself up with crab, which was kind of the case. Like none of the desserts really excited me that much. And I know the kids were really into the gelato there. I don't know. I feel like dessert-wise, Wicked Spoon was not the top.
I feel like if you're going to go to a buffet for a Vegas style buffet, Bacchanal. The buffet at the Wynn was beautiful. Like it's what I envisioned a buffet.
It was surprisingly beautiful to me. Like I was very impressed with the ambiance. It was just so pretty, and it felt like being in a prettier area of Disneyland, just like Mary Poppins and Bert on a Disneyland date.
And I'm not really like big on crab and lobster and stuff, so I feel like that going to that specific brunch, seafood brunch, like if you're going for that, that's definitely the place to go, the Bacchanal. But
and well, and I will say, since you mentioned the lobster, the Bacchanal had lobster. It was the first place that had like a real like a lobster claw. And I don't know what version it was or what, but it was a big fail. Like, and I've never experienced lobster like that, where like I couldn't even get into it. I couldn't open it. It was like very stuck to the inside of the claw. So I don't know what kind of lobster it was or like what the deal was there.
But I think you're hitting on something there though, because like at the buffet at the Wynn and at the Bacchanal, you get some dud things.
Right, you get like
there was
hit or
a
miss.
lot, and some of the stuff was really, really good, but some of the stuff was like, nah, I'm not gonna go back for more of that.
Yeah.
I kept going back for more and more and more at the Wicked Spoon because it was just, everything was delicious.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as crowded. I felt like the Bacchanal was very crowded. It was hard to get food.
It
like
was.
you had to wait a lot. And the service was not good.
Yes.
Like
the Bacchanal, the service was the worst service of all three buffets.
And I don't know if it was just our server or just in general, but like we had stacks of plates on our table because they weren't coming to pick up the plates. It was hard to get water for the kids.
It was hard to get napkins. It was the one place where like the crab station, it was there and there was like, I think lemon and drawn butter, but they did not have the crab utensils out at the buffet and they didn't have it already at the table. And you had to ask your specific server. So for 30 minutes, we were asking various people and our server hadn't come. And they were like, nope, we can't get them for you. Your server has to. And it was so bizarre, but we spent a lot of time just trying to get utensils and things. The reason I'm saying this is like not so much to complain, because overall all three experiences were wonderful, but I'm trying to help you guys and be informative of like our genuine experiences, because these things matter like in different ways to different people. Seriously, all three places I would be delighted to go to again, and they were like all my dream. I loved them all. But just to really, like, we were trying to take note of the things as we were eating at each place so we could really weigh pros and cons to each place for you guys, because some of those things matter more than others. The Bacchanal was definitely busier
Yeah.
and a little bit harder to get around.
Yeah.
But it had so much, and it just felt like it just kept going, and so many interesting foods.
I think the kids liked that one the best because there was just like all these like different things to get.
Oh, and as far as service goes too, I have to shout out, this is for Jacob. Jacob loved the crepe station person. So the person who was manning the crepes, he was great service. The hostess stand was great.
Yeah.
They helped us get in a little earlier because we arrived really early with this like giant party. So they were great and very accommodating. And the crepe station person was like Jacob loved him.
Everyone's
he was like
serving
so
food.
into him.
Like you could ask them questions.
Yeah.
And they were very
very helpful, but I don't know if they just don't have enough people on the floor or what, because I don't think our server was like necessarily like, they weren't rude or mean or anything, they just weren't there, and we needed them for a bunch of things because of the setup of the actual restaurant. Plates on the table, I feel like it was me and Christopher on a date wouldn't be that big of a deal.
No.
But when we have all these little kids and they're like reaching for things and there's like knives and like, it's just, it gives me a little bit of anxiety to have stuff on the table. But I also understand that wouldn't be like, not everybody
But
would have that.
it wasn't that
concern.
problem. We didn't have that problem at any of the other buffets. Like you'd finish a plate and they'd be like, "Are you done?" And
Yeah.
then they'd take it away. It would
And
feel instant.
I think also the Wicked Spoon probably had the best service too.
Yeah.
They had particularly good service.
Yeah.
But the buffet at the Wynn was good.
Speaking of our experiences, we saw some shows while we were there. What was your take on the shows?
Every show was great.
Yeah.
Like that was my take, was Mystère. I was like, yes, it's so good. Cirque shows are amazing. And with Mystère, you could take all ages. So starting with babies, and that's what we did. And it was entertaining for all. You had to be over 5.
Yeah.
And it was the best show I've ever seen.
It was great.
Like, I mean, it's even better than Mystère, and Mystère, like, wonderful. And then Bailey and I saw 6, and it was perfect. She was so happy, and I was so happy. And we're actually seeing it again now for Mother's Day because we loved it. So it's in a different category, I think, as far as Cirque, and it's also not in Las Vegas anymore. It's a touring show. So everything was perfect. Seriously, like everything was perfect.
And then also, I wanted to just real quick talk about hotel and having a lot of kids, like bringing kids and going to a hotel. The reason we ended up at Treasure Island was, 1 was price, and 2 was that they could fit us. They could give us 3 adjoining rooms. Connecting, yeah. So they all had doors, like you didn't have to go in the hallway to get to any of the rooms.
And that's actually, if you are ever booking for a larger party like ours, that terminology is really important, and I've learned that over time. Adjoining, which I always thought meant the door was in between them, that in hotel terminology just means that the rooms are next to each other. So if you say I want an adjoining room, it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna have a door. It means that your rooms are gonna be next to each other. You have to say connecting if you want to have that door access. And we really need that because we have all these people.
And so for that reason alone, I thought it was a great place for us to stay while we were there. When you stay in Las Vegas with kids, it's important to know that like you have the hotel room that you stay in. There's usually some sort of resort thing like the pool or something like that. But for the most part, there's like a casino, and there's gonna be smoking in the casino. The kids can't stop. You have to keep moving when you're in there. So
yeah, you have to follow the laws, and you
Yeah.
are in charge of knowing the laws. Like it's your responsibility as a parent to know the laws.
At Treasure Island, or TI as they call it, there wasn't a whole lot to do other than the pool or go to your room with the kids. I mean, obviously we saw the show, but there wasn't much to look at, whereas when we went to the Wynn, there were these big open places with like flowers and stuff. There was stuff to look at. You could stop, you could sit down, you didn't have to be like on the move, don't look at that game, like keep moving, you know, that sort of thing. Whereas at Treasure Island, there wasn't that much for them to do.
And I think that, as far as I know, the most accommodating hotel for that sort of thing would have been Circus Circus. Like that's what I've heard, is that Circus Circus is like this great place for kids. We've been there before in the past. We did not even stop in that area at all.
It's kind
on
of
this
far
trip.
from where our activities were.
And that was something I really learned on this trip that Christopher already knew, thankfully, because he was the planner. Was just that when you're on the Las Vegas Strip, it maybe on a map it looks simple, but you're kind of more stuck in your zone, like in your hotel or the hotels around it that connect. And it's harder than you think it's going to be to go to like one end of the strip to the other. And then also, that's why he chose a hotel and not a VRBO, which we often do. It made more sense to be just there on the strip because that's where all the activities we wanted to do was. And it was really nice that you planned for the first show right the night that we got there to be Mystere, because that's in Treasure Island and that's where we were staying, and it was so simple to get there. Things got a little more complicated later in the trip because we were doing a little bit of driving and parking because it's very hot outside, so it's hard with all the little kids to expect them to walk or just even experience the heat outside for a long period of time.
Even the distance, like you go, oh, it's just 2 hotels over, but each hotel's like 2 city blocks.
Yeah.
Like, they're huge.
And I did not expect that. I didn't realize that, but he knew. He was like, no. Like 1 hotel away is pretty far, just so you know. So
give yourself some time to get there. And Treasure Island, at the time that we stayed there, free parking, which was great. Like you could park and that was great. But when we had to drive to like the Bellagio, it was very expensive parking, and the size of our van had some like height restriction problems with some of the parking lots. So
yeah, we couldn't park it at all in Caesar's Palace.
Caesar's Palace had no place for us to park our van.
Yeah.
It has a 7-foot tall clearance that it requires. So anyway, those are all just things to think about as a parent going to Las Vegas. As a
parent, because all parents have 15 passenger vans, right?
No.
But yes, that
I just meant the driving and parking part.
Yeah, not all parking lots are equal as far as pricing. And I will say the hardest thing, because I saw some comments like, oh my goodness, you took your kids to Vegas? That's what? And it really was a wonderful place. There were so many things we still wanted to do, such as Circus Circus. We really wanted to go to Meow Wolf, and we didn't get the chance to.
Yeah.
So there were so many things for us to do, and so many things I was like thrilled to have done with the kids. But the hardest thing for our kids was the smoking, because we're from California. We're not used to a lot of smoking in general. I know that is a little bit more location specific to California, but it was really uncomfortable for the kids to like be around smoking, and that was like the biggest complaint, I'd say. Also at night, when we walked from over to Paris, and we were only with the older 4 kids, but as we were walking, there were people that were handing out little pictures, and I think it was cards that had like naked people on them, and that was getting also thrown on the ground because people didn't want them, so they were just like tossing them on the ground. So that was very like
the streets
visible.
Themselves were a little bit more rowdy. Like there was a little more.
But it was that specific for us. That one moment was kind of the time that was like, oh, okay. I would say, and there were some like cars that drove by with stuff like that. But overall, I would say it was still like a pretty kid-friendly atmosphere, especially like depending on where we were. But I did have some people asking about stuff like that. So that was like a couple of things that I would say were more like adult focused. That was like, oh, I hope the kids don't notice that, or like don't look too hard over there, because that was a surprise.
Vegas has this reputation, but you don't have to engage in all the things that Vegas has a reputation for. That especially in the 90s, they really tried to like change Vegas into like a family destination, and that remnants of that
because
are
that's
still
when
there.
the Treasure Island show went from like the very fun pirate show to the like showgirl.
No, that was the 2000s.
2000s?
Yeah, the 90s they tried.
Such a weird show, that second one.
Yeah.
And now there's no show.
There's no stunt show there anymore, which is sad.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought it was a wonderful family trip. There are certainly things you need to be aware of and looking out for, but overall, like, it was perfect.
The drive was good. Trip. I liked stopping at that diner. Like everything was. It was a good trip. So happy birthday!
Thank you.
And thank you for my birthday present
40.
too. I know. We both turned 40 this year. She got me 3 days at Disneyland, and I got her 3-4 days in
3 days in Vegas,
something like that. So
you had to give yourself 4. It was the drive.
Yeah, most of that was driving.
And we have so much coming up. It's such a busy couple of months for us. We have Duncan's birthday. We are going to the regionals for Parker's Gymnastics TNT, and he will be competing to see, I think it's competing against like 8 or 9 other states for his trampoline and tumbling. And then we also have Parker's birthday. Bailey is getting her wisdom teeth out. It's a lot that's happening, but we're very excited for it.
And we're excited to share all those adventures with you. So make sure that you're subscribed to our channel and you have the notifications turned on. We just hit 2 million subscribers, by the way. That's very exciting. That just happened. And we have a newsletter, so that's a really great way to stay connected with us. There is a link down in the description. You sign up for it and you'll get emails from us telling you about our adventures, what we've been up to, and where you can find us. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and we will see you next time.